Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here for a short session on supporting parents while we're distance learning. It's really important that parents feel supported during this time because they're going to be the ones that have the most successful students. When parents feel supported, they're able to facilitate learning and taking the stress of not knowing how to help your children out of that learning environment is going to make sure that students can show some growth. So we want to make sure that we're looking at the families on the outside pictures here, and we are not setting families up to be that situation that we see there in the middle. So how can we make sure that learning goes well at home? The first thing is be available. Make sure that parents are comfortable talking with you, that you've checked in enough when things are going well and to share some positive feedback, that when a child needs some help, that parent will talk with you about that. Also, make sure you've got some sessions set aside during your week that are just for parents, whether they're on the phone or online, where parents can drop in. And it's a good idea sometimes to have a set topic for the week that might take about 10 minutes that will open up the floor for questions or for parents to share. The other way you can help parents is sending them resources that will support what their children have on the agenda for the week. Keep in mind that it's been a long time for some parents since they've had to solve problems with fractions or find the adjectives in sentences. So we want to make sure that we're giving the parents resources that can help them be helpful to children. Also, keep in mind that parents are still working at this time, so you need to make sure you're available at some times that can work for your parents. So you may find that if a parent has a job outside of the home, maybe it's their lunch hour that you can talk with them, or maybe you need to set aside some time early mornings or in the evenings when you can connect with that family. And then think about, what do you need to teach parents? How can you support them? One, of course, is with content, like we've already discussed. But keep in mind, parents do not have that same degree that you have. And they did not spend a lot of time in school learning how to set up a classroom, how to manage behaviors, the importance of routines. And it's our job now to help parents do these things in the home environment. Fortunately, there are tons of resources out there to help us. Of course, you are a great resource. Other teachers are a great resource that you can call on. But there are lots of websites that are helpful that you can share with parents. But a caution, don't just send the link to Khan Academy and say, this will help you with math, because parents don't always know what to look for when they get to the Khan Academy. Go ahead and send the link that takes a parent right to that online lesson for solving equations or for multiplying fractions with mixed numbers, so that when they click the play button, what comes up is what that child has on the paper for the day or for the week. The same thing with YouTube. Make sure you send a link to something specific or give them a couple of choices, because the number of choices can be overwhelming for parents, and not being able to search well can be a hindrance to some of these websites. So the last thing I wanted to show you today was just some things that we have done at SCVCS with parents. I have a weekly session that's just for my learning coaches, where I show them some different things that might support them while they're working at home. So bear with me a bit while I swap my shared screens so that you can see just some of the starting points. So, parents don't always know how to give feedback to their students that works well. So, this is a great short discussion that you can have. Talk about what feedback is, what makes it effective, and what does it sound like. So many parents know they're doing a good job and they just say to kids, wow, that's great. Kids don't really know what was great about that unless you tell them specifically that it was great the way they used capital letters at the beginning of sentences. So you can spend some time in an online session teaching parents how to give feedback that's meaningful that will help kids get where the parent is trying to take them. Sometimes it's not the methods that they're using, but they need to vary their routine. So you can talk to parents about adding some movement into the day. Talk to them about why it's a good thing and the research that supports that. And then give them some ideas for what they can do in the house, because no mom wants to envision school at home with all of their children at home and then adding a soccer game in her living room. I mean, that's just a recipe for stress. But you can teach parents how to incorporate the beginning stretches or breaks into lessons to help refocus, how to divide lesson time, how to movement can keep attention, and how to use movement as transition between one assignment and the next. And if what is on Facebook is true, there are going to be some students who are upset and some families who are feeling this. Um, we need to help parents learn how to spot that inappropriate behaviors and outbursts and fidgeting and leg shaking, all of those are responses to stress or anxiety, perhaps. And it's not a child who's just trying to misbehave or get out of doing some work. So we can teach parents what's happening in their children's brains, what happens there, and then how to get calm. Use some of the strategies you teach your students in your classroom, because those will be familiar to students and they will enjoy that their parents are now using those too. And then, of course, parents don't get to go to all the reading courses that we go to or the math courses. And so they know how they learned how to do something, but they might need some support because their child is not learning the same way that they did. So you may need to offer just and again, this is all short, just a 10 minutes. And then the rest of the session for parents was open for questions or feedback and discussion as to what we were showing. So we know that there are going to be some reading comprehension assignments sent to parents and children. So we can talk about what that is and some ways that we can support it by teaching vocabulary and modeling what is going on in your brain when you are finding the answers. Show those things to children. And all of those lessons led to some really great discussions with parents where they shared with each other things that have been successful in their house. So I will stop here and thank you again for attending and invite you to send your questions my way. I'm definitely here to help and hope you have a great day.